Hello, everyone. Welcome in and welcome back to the Forts Pro League semi-finals. You heard that right. This is week 2 in the FPL Season 6 main stage games. I hope you guys have had a great day, a great time. And I'm looking forward to seeing these games go through. Because, the last time I had some actually amazing, like truly some of the best games we have had in the Forts Pro League across all of the years we've done this. And, I'm only expecting them to get better. So I want to say thank you to everyone whoever's joining us here today. And, let's see what kind of madness we can get up to. As we see here on screen, you'll see now the current bracket. We'll be starting out with Haze Orb versus Gold. As is the standard, all of these matches will be best of 5, so we're going to have 10 games today, or at least up to 10 games today. And it will be something I'm looking forward to. These teams are pretty evenly matched. I haven't seen much in the way of stomps today, or at least in terms of matchups. I'm not seeing too great of a skill gap, so it's going to be... I'm expecting close to 10 games is what I'm expecting. Now, I do want to shout out 42 Scientist and Romero Legas, both of which are here in the voice chats. Go ahead and say hello, 42.
Greetings.
And Romero.
Hello, everyone.
And they will be mostly behind the scenes handling things, so when you see things going right and smoothly, you know whose fault it is. But they do have the ability to talk, as you can hear, and when you hear their voices throughout the broadcast, you'll know who it is. Alrighty then. We are setting up the lobby and getting the players all together, which is almost done. So let's go ahead and swap on over to the picks and bans so you guys can see what we're looking at here. Gold versus Haze Orb. Julian and Nils versus Taichu and Tar. For the first time in a while, we are actually seeing Phantom banned. I am never surprised to see Phantom banned. I'm always surprised to see Phantom picked, and it's always a wild time waiting to happen. In terms of maps, Wingman, Boonies will be the first two. Then we'll be moving on to Snow Leopards and Vanilla. And should it come down to it, Caverns will be the decider. And all the players are here. All right. We are almost ready to get this first match started, so I hope you guys have grabbed your drinks, grabbed your snacks. Make sure to grab your seats and get ready. So I want to talk to you guys in chat. What kind of things are you looking forward to today? Which team do you want to be victorious to? Which are you rooting for? When you say that things are, what is your favorite team?
I must say I am rooting for Haze Orb because Taichu is there.
I just want to see the tall tower of Tar. The Tar towers are always fun. You know, I think it's funny that like the cannon stacks aren't a Tar thing. Like they're so generic, so baseline that no one could in any way claim it. But I've seen so many people talk about Tar being known for cannon stacks that it's just Tar and cannon stacks managed to go together. And I don't know how he's managed that, but it is what it is. Good lord. Alrighty. I do want to shout out the other casters here. We do have the German casters available on Twitch, so for those who are looking to watch these games in the native tongues of, well, German and also French? Yes, and also French. You can check them out on Twitch right now. Salzwerk is live, as well as Baumständer for the German casters. And then we have OG Vlad for the French caster. Still think it's just Haze Orb. It's just that's such a cursed image. You know, I love so many of the team logos. They're quite good and creative. Haze Orbs is just cursed. I don't know how
a
they
lot of
came
them
up
are
with
cursed,
that.
to be honest.
Yes. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love the trend. It's just they make something cursed and just throw it up there. It's great. It's just that one in particular is that one gets me, and I don't know why. It's
Alright,
just
looks like we're set.
Yes, we are. All right then. The match is made. The players are ready. We are going. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're off to the races. As here we have on left-hand side, it is Team Gold. Nils and Julian are facing off against their opponents. On the right-hand side, it is Team Haze Orb. It looks like we're going to have, or it is probably another slugfest. Mostly because Team Gold is playing as the armored billow commander, which means they want it to be a slugfest. They will do whatever they can to make sure that the slugfest happens. Whereas on the other side, Team Haze Orb is playing as the spook commander. And the spook commander is well, the Spook Commander can just kind of do everything. The dirty, filthy thief doesn't have a real specialty in terms of strategy so much as is a good generalist commander. Probably my favorite commander, honestly. It's just hard to go wrong with Spook. But it does mean that I'm not expecting any zany, any super crazy or unusual strategy from Team Haze Orb. It's going to be something standard play, which is going to give Team Gold the option to really force their strategy, which I can only assume is going to be trying to turn it into a war of attrition.
Spook players do sometimes get to play a little riskier than others simply because they know they can't be punished if their panel tells them they can't, as opposed to like Pinterest players who just, have a lot of hope.
Yes. Yes, and that is worth noting. Spook enables a little bit of safety that the other commanders don't quite get, but it doesn't fundamentally change the strategies available to them or such. It's still the case that they have to be some degree of careful, that they don't get access to some unusual strategies because of the extra degree of safety, as it were. Oh, well, there goes the turbine. Yes. So that's what I was getting at earlier. You are correct. It is worth mentioning that a Spook, it tends to be a bit more safe and they can do things. Nils is building a rocket rush strategy. That wasn't on my bingo card. Okay. And we got our first shots fired. I hope that they don't think that this is the token EMP. This is not a token EMP. That's not a weapons platform for token EMP. That's a rocket rush. It's only 2 rockets, but it's still a rocket rush. And yeah, Nils isn't going heavy weapons behind this. He's going triple rocket. Wait, no, that's a smoke bomb. That's not a 3rd rocket. Okay, well, with the upgraded rockets revealed, Team Haze Orb definitely knows this is a rocket rush. So we've got some proper early game play here. And yeah, the shotgun pens through the armor and takes out a machine gunner. Tar is about to get slammed here, something fierce. Now, this is only 2 rockets, which means Tar can tank this for a long time. The smoke launcher from Nils is going to present as a problem. It will prevent reconstruction, but Tar will still have the money to rebuild, more or less, because there's only 2 rockets. Now, this will basically soft lock Tar. He's going to need to do something about it. It's like otherwise Nils will sit there functionally indefinitely just blasting with rockets. And that's not the world that Team Haze Orb wants. As all the while, Nils' teammate, Julian, up here, is going for heavy weapons and is about 20 seconds away from having an active plasma. And, well, Fire Beam, Plasma Beam combo would be devastating to either player on Team Haze Orb, but especially Tar, who is currently suffering the wrath of rockets. Alright, we do see Nils up-teching to the heavy weapons tech, specifically the laser varietal. Fire Beam, Plasma Beam from on high. Tar is almost defeated outright with that, but does manage to hold it. Also, I realize now that I spoke very incorrectly. That wasn't Armadillo. Apparently it's too early in the morning for me. That's Pinch Fist. Gold, gold, gold is Pinch Fist. That explains the Rocket Rush. Okay. So at this point, Nils is looking to tech past rockets and go straight into the laser weaponry. Tar, on the other hand, has made almost no progress because he's, been getting blasted by rockets and is still getting blasted by rockets. Tar has gone with enough storages to produce a howitzer. Is that true? No, I think he needs one more battery. But he's adding additional storages, which implies that he wants to get a howitzer instead of a standard cannon. So we'll have to keep that in mind. But this is the power of rockets. We've said it many times before, but 3 rockets is the critical point where it just breaks the opponent, the point where they literally cannot afford to rebuild. Here you can see what happens if it's only 2 rockets instead of the 3rd. Only 2 rockets means that it's not quite enough to hit that critical point, and oh no.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see that one coming. Taichu collapses, he gets his foundation nodes slapped out from underneath him, and away he goes, down into the earth. And now Tar has nothing, has no weapons, has had functionally no progress for the past 4-ish minutes, and is, well, dealing with the ramping damage output of both players in the enemy team. I was going to say, maybe this game looks a little different if Nils had gone triple rocket instead of smoke launcher, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome here. I think triple rocket would have just removed Tar first, and then Taichu would have been the final to fall. But as it stands, Tar's like sitting here relying on snipers to do any kind of damage as he gets pummeled. And now Nils has a kill shot. Oof. Doesn't quite make it. Tar is running out of time to make something happen here, and is barely enough money to rebuild his armor. Have another deep shot? Not quite. Okay. Is that another rocket? That's another smoke launcher. Okay. Commander active ability to reduce the firing cost. How are you alive? Those weren't even poor laser shots. He just had enough armor to tank that. Okay. Tar not quite knocked out yet. Still barely hanging on. Like, just barely hanging on. Tar, throughout that, has managed to upgrade his mine, so he is technically getting more income than the damage he is receiving. Wow. That is like the 3rd time that a single strut of wood has been the difference. It was not even a full strut of wood. The wood was down to 25% HP between him and defeat. Okay. The core has finally been touched. as Tar struggles to hold the line. A swing and a miss. Tar's armors are penetrated, but it's not enough to break him. Or at least should I say it's penetrated, but the lasers, they miss their shots. But now there's nothing between Tar's core and the opponent's firing. And the fire, it burns, and Tar falls. That is a way to go. Holy smokes. Gold wins it off the back of a well-placed laser beam that slices Taichu out of the game. Alrighty then, we are on to round 2. And look at that collapse, it's so pretty. I hope you guys are ready for round 2, because I certainly am. As Gold wins round 1, giving themselves 1 point, and getting closer to winning this best of 5. I will say, the Rockets, a great choice for Team Gold in round 1. I'm partial to seeing players get death spiraled with the triple rockets, but honestly, the double rocket was enough to just stall Tar literally indefinitely. Like, at some point, it doesn't matter how skilled you are at the game, at how efficiently you spend your money. If you don't have income to spend, then that's just it. You can't do anything. And two rockets was enough to functionally softlock Tar. Wasn't enough to death spiral, but Tar, as you saw, got 0 weapons placed, got no additional tech, got nothing beyond, well, anything once those rockets started landing. Like, once those rockets land, like, you have limited time to break out of the rocket rush before it just sends you into the grave. Knocks you out of the game. They're very effective. Alright, it looks like the next match is made and ready to go. So I hope you guys are ready, because we are, and we'll be kicking it off here momentarily. Gold versus Haze Orb. Round 2. I do want to shout out Tar there at the end, especially. Like, everyone knew it was checkmate. Like, that's the world that they live in when it's when the round is, when it's over. Like, there's nothing available left. Like, it's all gone. And yet, he still fights because it's fun, and he gets to show off this skill in his defensive play, and it is satisfying to see it every time, because I always appreciate it. It makes me happy to see.
It also sends a message to the team, that they're going to have to fight for every inch, even if it looks like it's already over.
Yes. And for it's like most strategy games, there does come a point where the fighting is futile in terms of changing the game. Like, checkmate can happen, but I still like to see the forts get smashed. Spite is a weapon, and I will use it. But yeah, there do come points where I don't feel the need to sass players for conceding, and I would have granted Tar the easy way out had he desired it, but he didn't. He wanted to go down fighting, and that makes me happy. That and it is actually fun to get a door snipe with a sniper just against a team or players that are particularly greedy. Because I remember I had a show match. It wasn't even a live show match. It was just me showing players how the game works. Like just some like offline players how the game works. And like the entire gimmick was I'm literally not going to build weapons. I'm just going to defend. You guys in the other team just try to destroy me to see if you guys can do it. You know, just to give them some practice at destroying players who are playing defensively, or to, you know, get an idea as to what kind of firepower is necessary to break through forts and such. It was real simple, real easy. And at one point, like, alright guys, you guys are doing well, but you know that I can win this round at any point here. You guys have to step it up. And the reason I could do that is because they were building undefended weapons. Now, of course, I wasn't building weapons to shoot them back, so it wasn't a big deal. But they had like 8 20mm. Like one of the guys had like 8 20mm all exposed. All it took was 2 sniper shots to collapse his entire stack on himself. And that woke them up real quick, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. So there was lessons to be learned in the most explosive fashion. But let's go ahead and talk about this round specifically. It's Haze Orb on the left side. They were defeated in the last round in quite spectacular fashion. Gold on the right. Things are progressing what I would describe as standard for the commander choices. Haze Orb going with the upgrade center route into heavy weapons, whereas Team Gold is just kind of moseying their way along. With their commander choices, everyone here goes upgrade center and eco before really anything else, so wasn't not too excited, not too surprised to see that's exactly what they're doing. We do see token EMP from Nils, the bottom fort, to Team Gold. I don't see any anti-air from Haze Orb, so it's likely that this EMP makes it directly across uncontested. Starting to see 1 or 2 machine gunners, but EMP makes it across. Not surprised whatsoever. Shotgun from Julian, more defensive than offensive, but it's tickling the other forts, so Haze Orb will have to hardwall their eco and everything else just to make sure everything remains intact. I'm sorry, but Julian over here has lethal. Vulnerable to buzzsaws. You can get knocked out of this round literally right now. Well, if Taichi were to have a second buzzsaw. Okay. Alright, so now we have kind of returned to truce. The token EMP and buzzsaw backlash have all run their course, and everyone's going pure pure heavy weapons here. You love to see it.
I swear I could feel the disappointment there when the buzzsaw took out the weapons platform, but there was no weapons yet.
Yes. Yeah, that's... You always love to try to take advantage of that, because most players won't build doors before the weapon. They'll just have a little piece of wood to prevent things like sniping. But with the little bit of weapons investment into something like a buzzsaw, the wood can be blasted away very quickly, leaving weapons vulnerable to things like sniper follow-up. These players are really building up, I gotta say. Like, this is... I would not be surprised if we see enough energy shields across these teams to just prevent anyone. Like, they're still adding energy shields. There's a real chance that, like, no damage is gonna happen. Like, because they're built up so much that we'll progress past lasers before the lasers are even fired.
I mean, they have to be careful.
Yes. Everyone has gone lasers. There's not a single cannon in sight. So... Alright, it begins. And it's already deflected by energy shields. It's gonna be door snipe on door snipe violence. Oh, actually snakes that shot underneath the energy shield. More energy shields, and now it is Haze Orb's time to retaliate. A laser beam. But that's it. Just one laser beam. One laser beam in retaliation. How underwhelming. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of defensive play. These players need not play defensive, but they are playing defensive. And you know what? That's fine. Lots of laser beams. Now, when it comes to the laser beam war, it's basically sniper duel, but higher stakes. The reason for that is lasers are extremely precise, extremely accurate weapons that are the toppest tier tool for door sniping. So what ends up happening is you just kind of door snipe with your lasers until you hit something super important and then just kind of win the game off the back of that. Because everyone's going lasers, it's just like door snipe central. Firing first is not necessarily a good thing, but there we have it. Julian manages to break Taichu's laser, or at least one of his lasers. He's got two more. Ooh, another one falls. Nils loses one. It's worth noting that lasers need not be exclusively door snipe weapons. They do actually have the most single target damage of, I think, any weapon in the game. They do a lot of damage to a very specific spot. So they can break things. They just generally aren't used for that. That's not true. They are used for that. It's not the most effective trait of the lasers. And the sniper, Nils winning the sniper in the sniper war. Ooh, buzzsaws. Looks like Julian's going straight toward the core. Doesn't quite merge all his beams, but you see some deep penetration from the fire from Team Gold. Isn't enough to actually get past the armor, but it was a good attempt. Could appreciate the attempt. It's worth noting that Gold is the only team here with EMPs. So when it comes to actually attempting to break through the armor and the defenses, Team Gold is the only one capable of doing it because they're the only ones capable of shutting down the energy shields. And there you have it. Energy shield shut down and a plasma beam is destroyed. Taichu loses another toy. Taichu needs to reconstruct that energy shield. He's just going with armor now. Just say, because that's a lot of exposed mines, and that's a lot of exposed upgraded mines, which would be problematic. Yeah, Julian's aiming for them too. Like they're trying to take out his eco, which she said, you know, typically very effective, and they get it. Taichu loses 2 mines and the rest of his plasmas. Well, he still has 1 down at the bottom, but 1 plasma does not solve his problems, especially not with after taking that much damage. It is worth noting that Tar has tech switched over to howitzers. So we're not going to see this continue back and forth with the lasers. While the lasers have been kind of sort of effective at keeping Team Gold in check, they haven't been doing real damage, as it were. I mean, keeping the team in check is real damage, but it's not the same as breaking some. It's not the same as, like, you know, breaking the base apart. First howitzer is fired, but it is caught on a howitzer catcher, dealing minimum damage. I think the biggest sign of the times here actually comes from Team Gold. Aside from them breaking through Tar's armor, we see 3 plasmas up here in the upper fort, which are exposed. Not plasmas, fire beams, which are exposed. And the triple exposed fire beam means that there's no pressure hitting Julian at all, as Tar is door sniped once again. And Nils gets door sniped by Tar in exchange. You'll love to see it. A standard cannon out of Tar. It's worth noting that Team Gold has developed anti-air, specifically multi-layered shotguns, which will shut down, or at least strongly deter Tar's howitzers from being effective. As here come the fire beams. Well, you know, I mean, it took out a fire beam, which makes it worth, but also it was only 1 fire beam and it was exposed, and that could have been done with the sniper. You hate to see it, but also it works. Oh my god. That howitzer just survived the laser beam. It may not survive the fire. It did not survive the fire beam. Tar getting greedy with an exposed howitzer, gets blasted. At least his standard cannon's gonna make it, which will enable him to deal guaranteed damage, which he kind of needs at this point. Because frankly, Team Gold is running away with it. They've been functionally uncontested for a long time now. Taichu has also successfully tech switched over to cannons, is opening up his howitzer now, which will enable him to fire. Has a second howitzer on the way. Oh! Tar is penetrated. His core is down to 7%. The next time he gets door sniped, like, it's just over. Like, he's down to 7%. Referencing last round, his final wooden strut broke, and he took all the damage. Alright, standard cannon fires. Nils just takes it straight to the face. Massive damage. Okay, alright. Haze Orb just returned massive damage. Multiple howitzer hits across Gold's bases, and a door snipe dealing quite critical internal damage. I don't think it broke. I don't think it shattered the. Yeah, it looks like the stability tech is okay for Nils, but that's not the kind of hit he wants to be taking. Looks like Gold's going with the wall of machine guns to prevent howitzer from getting across. That's very effective at doing so. Do recommend. Double howitzer. Is that it? Taichu gets sliced and finished. A surprise to Team Haze Orb. They're not the only ones tech switching over to cannons. Double howitzer opens up Taichu's base and blasts Taichu out of the game with laser follow-up. Tar is down to 7%. And he's burning. And he's gone. Team Gold wins round 2 off the back of just a heaped ton of firepower. You'll love to see it. That was a lot of damage. That was just constant weapons fire from Team Gold. They didn't stop firing, and they just kind of took Taichu and Tar out of the game. Haze Orb couldn't keep up. Tasty, tasty replays. It is so satisfying to watch the laser just cut through, just penetrate through lines of devices. I was wondering if that cannon was going to be the death of Tar. Like, I didn't expect Tar to have success there, but I was curious as to which thing was going to be the killing blow, and if it was going to be the cannon. It was the cannon. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Gold is starting to run away with it. This is a best of 5, so if Gold wins this next match, this next round, they will win the match in its entirety. Team Haze Orb is going to have to win the next 3 rounds in order to claim victory here in the semifinals. It looks like Team Gold is just kind of running away with it. All right then. Tar, we're gonna need you to turn on to put on that backpack and start carrying, because it's now or never. As we go into Snow Leopards 2v2. And we're off. So here on the left-hand side, it is Team Gold. Nils and Julian are playing as the Moonshine Commander. They're facing off against their opponents on the right-hand side. It is Team Haze Orb playing as the Architect Commander. Now, ever since the latest balance patch, Moonshine has kind of become affiliated with lasers rather than cannons, which is just weird to me. Not because there's anything wrong with that, it's just not how he has been since the launch of Moonshine. So I'm still getting used to it. But the little extra damage boosts, just flat damage boosts on the plasma beams and laser weapons generally, does actually make a difference when playing Moonshine. And I think it's a combination of lasers being meta right now, as well as a little extra laser boosts. It makes Moonshine pretty synonymous with plasma beam spam. But typically Moonshine would be was known for just mass EMP options, things like 20mm or just standard cannons. Great for shutting down portals, energy shields, and generally suppressing your opponent while blasting them back to the Dark Age with standard kinetic weaponry. But that's not the case, not anymore. So I am reasonably expecting to see a lot of lasers from Team Gold, which has been the strategy so far from Team Gold. Whereas Haze Orb, on the other hand, has options. They are playing Architects, so realistically I expect them to take a dip into Upgrade Center, because they can. More importantly, we are seeing Tar not do that and instead go straight to heavy weapons, cannon flavored heavy weapons. Taichu is going for laser beams, which does not surprise me. This map, because the position of the upper fort is directly above the lower fort, it is the general strategy to try to target the top base and have them drop onto the lower base to defeat both bases. Lasers are great at that, as are howitzers. But lasers are the stereotypical weapon for doing that exactly. Okay. I like what I'm seeing here at a Taichu. Double buzzsaw can get things exciting. I believe Julian is unlikely to be vulnerable to the double buzzsaw. Oh no, Julian just ruining Taichu's plans. AP Sniper takes out a buzzsaw. That thing's expensive. And removes Taichu's ability to counterplay this. Like, theoretically, Julian is vulnerable to defeat here. Double buzzsaw in the right spot just straight up eliminates... It actually eliminates both of them, because it would drop the core on Nils, and it would just be an instant game over. But... Taichu no longer has double buzzsaw, and that's just how that works. One buzzsaw will not be enough to end it. God, that kill shot is so easy on Julian right now. If only Taichu had that second buzzsaw, this would be over. Julian's so greedy right now. He's so greedy. He has no defenses. Oh, and he's adding another batter. Oh, it hurts my soul so much to see this happen. He's so greedy and he's not being punished for it. It's fine. This is the Forts Pro League. This is how this goes. EMP on both sides, just kind of slapping around a little bit. Nothing unusual, nothing crazy, nothing super damaging. Taro starting a stack of standard cannons. Ooh. Decent buzzsaw hit. Deforms the fort a bit. But it looks like Julian's greed will go unpunished as we have multiple plasmas being constructed by Julian, while Nils constructs mostly fire beams and another flak, presumably for shotguns to deal with howitzer potential. Though we are not seeing howitzers from any player on Team Haze Orb. Haze Orb is partial to howitzers instead of over the standard cannon, so I'm not at all surprised to see shotguns built preemptively. But we are getting standard cannons here, and it looks like Julian will be the target, with Tar building what will be exposed cannons, presumably exposed cannons, that can aim exclusively at Julian. It is worth noting that Tar has not developed an upgrade center, so if this game continues to go long, as it is likely to be, as it is likely to go, then Tar will gradually be losing any advantage he gains just by virtue of not making enough money. Right, and it's not quite undoored cannons, but first shot fired, Tar whiffs. Comes fire beam. Tar will need to deal with the fire beams issue. Second cannon comes online for Tar. Oh, Julian. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. No, it's not
That
nearly
was
enough
smooth.
defenses.
So smooth.
Taichu just blasts Julian out. So precise, so clean that it doesn't damage any of Julian's base, and Nils just claims Julian's base and all of its firepower and all of its eco, which could be a big problem for Team Haze Orb. So Team Haze Orb needs to do something to stop that from happening. They've got a couple options. Eliminating Nils directly is an option. Destroying Julian's base is also, or one base is also an option. Currently, they're electing to just constantly disconnect Nils from the base to prevent him having control over it and prevent him from defending it. In this case, it's enough for Tar to just keep shooting. It's enough to delay Nils from doing any kind of actual defending, and Tar manages to break one of the weapons. Yeah, Taichu needs a lot more buzzsaws here to just remove that. We still see he's adding another plasma up on high. Okay, wasn't expecting that. I would think, given the vulnerability of Julian's base, the now upward expansion, of Nils that adding additional weaponry up there would be less interesting. You simply use it as an economic foothold and thick, chunky pieces of armor up there to defend itself. But a third cannon coming down for Tar, and also a howitzer, as Taichu just ramps up the number of plasmas available.
I wonder if Neil's thinking that maybe he could sneak in a snipe on the back cannon there with that laser that's building.
Solid, maybe. I mean, he's had a fire beam this whole time. Obviously, fire beam doesn't one-shot the cannons, but I would think that he would probably have tested that once with the fire beam, unless he's just getting risky with it and hoping that if he doesn't shoot it with the fire beam, then Tar might not notice that Nils notices, and so he can use the plasma to end it. But okay, well, we're gonna find out here. It's worth noting that if that cannon goes, like, it's not gonna be defeat for Tar. That might be devastating to his energy production, which would, you know, delay Tar's damage output for an extended period of time. But a plasma from that angle would not defeat Tar. It would only delay Tar by a couple minutes at most. Taichu is beginning the development of portal swarm missiles, portal nukes, which, if Nils wasn't in a checkmate position before, will immediately throw them into the game over state. As is, Nils still has time to fight back, still has time to make a difference. He has time to do damage, though he's on a clock here. He doesn't have the firepower to keep up with Team Haze Orb. His economy is honestly not that far behind Team Haze Orb's, but lacking APM to keep up the defenses. He just doesn't have as much stuff on the board, and so momentum is going in Haze Orb's direction. He needs to break that momentum in some manner. Okay, that's bad for Team Gold. Nils just lost his exposed fire beam and his exposed plasma. That plasma we were mentioning, thinking, hey, it could take out Tar's cannon and most of his energy production. It's just gone. And okay, all right. Nils' armor has been penetrated. He's getting cleaned up. Almost all of his energy production is gone. His internals have been gutted. Storage is blasted. Nils is falling apart here at the seams. And everywhere else. Team Haze Orb is still going with the chip him down strategy, which is the correct strategy in my opinion. When the player has this much of a fort, you really don't want to go try penetrating through things. You just work way at the edges, which is what we're seeing here. Every shot from Team Haze Orb is destroying something of value. A mine, a turbine, a storage, something of value, something that Team Gold, rather Nils specifically, can't simply rebuild and have available for the next volley. Now look at that, he's selling off his mines from up top while building a mine up top. Okay. Uh-oh. Nils' core is dangerously close to destruction. Tar going back to howitzers, swapping away from cannons, and not finding success with them yet. Alright. What's your plan here, Gold? He's sitting there with the door open on his laser, waiting for a door snipe. There is, I believe, an angle where Nils can just straight up eliminate Taichu here with that door snipe. There's a real world here, and it's not even an incredibly difficult shot. This is a full like 1.2 size door where if Nils lands that shot, he just eliminates Taichu outright. Oh, he tries for it. Oh, but he misses it. Oh no. He doesn't get it. Though Taichu, I think, doesn't recognize the damage, the danger there. Nils needs to aim just a little bit lower, and he will directly door snipe Taichu's core through the door. I don't know if Nils recognizes that, but that is the situation we're in here. Taichu opens the door. Nils isn't ready to pounce. He's currently trying not to die, which, you know what? Understandable. As Tar's cannons are just shredding Nils' base components, left, right, and well, mostly up. Fires again. Oh. Nils was sitting there but didn't fire it. Did he not have the energy? He had the energy. I just think he was waiting for something else. Maybe he's still aiming and lost his opportunity. As normally I would be sitting here like, oh yeah, Nils is just, you know, on his way out, just fighting on his way down. Nils has a real opportunity to defeat Taichu here. But it looks like he's conceding here. He's letting it happen. The stress is too much and he goes down. Haze Orb wins round 3, bringing this to a 2-1 and keeping things going here in the first matchup. It's a best of 5 and we're going on to round 4. That was a good one. Let's see what next round brings to us. With Haze Orb winning that last round, they stay in this match. Now, Team Gold still has match point. If they win this coming round, Gold will move on to the finals, and Haze Orb will be knocked down to the bronze match. Will Haze Orb be able to claim victory in this round and bring these scores to a nice and even tie? Or will Team Gold claim victory and knock Haze Orb out? Alright, the players are ready. The match is made. We're going to be jumping into round 4 here momentarily. I'm looking forward to this one. The stakes have never been higher. Or have they? It's a good match either way. Let's go. Round 4. Team Gold versus Team Haze Orb. We have Pinch Fist versus Spook. As here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Haze Orb playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. It's time to get greedy, time to get rushy. They'll be playing against their opponents here on the right-hand side. It is Team Gold as the Spook Commander. The scores are 1-2 in this best of 5, which means Gold is on match point. If Team Gold on the right-hand side in the red wins this round, they will win this matchup, and with it, move on to the finals, knocking Team Haze Orb down to the lower brackets, or in this case, the 3rd place match, the bronze match. Haze Orb has to win not just this round, but the next round in order to maintain their trajectory toward first place here in this competition. This time they'll be using Pinch Fist to try to do that. Pinch Fist, you guys know it, you guys love it, sells off all their everythings to get a quick and dirty boost toward the, well, everything. Extra eco, faster tech progression just by virtue of having more money at the start. It's looking like I'm not seeing indicators here of early rush tactics, where Team Gold used Pinch Fist quite successfully with a rocket rush in round 1. We're not going to be seeing that kind of play for Team Haze Orb. Haze Orb's going heavy weapons, and they're going mixed heavy weapons at that, so it's going to be lasers plus cannons. Whereas Gold is taking a detour off toward the upgrade center. This will give them access to, well, upgraded mines and such. Upgraded mines and upgraded eco, always a good choice. The question is not if, but when. And the earlier the better. And we're seeing Team Gold go with it quite early. I was wondering if this is the direction we're going. Nils is developing mortars. Token EMP lands. Potentially revealing the mortars. I don't know if Tar noticed that. He did. Okay. We're seeing anti-air developed in anti-mortar positions from Tar and from Taichu. And the first mortar volley, swing and a miss. That will give the machine gunners time to construct, and those mortars will not be uncontested across the skies. So we're gonna see a match here. This won't be a blindside blast. Nothing directly ending the game with these mortars. Nils is building as if he wants to go for heavy weapons, but has no heavy weapons tech, so I don't know what's going on there. Okay, there's the heavy weapons tech. He's just a little bit slow about it. Or at least it's delayed, distracted. I shouldn't be terribly surprised. Typically, players will build the tech before expanding, but Nils expanded before tech, so I was a little bit thrown off by that. Just a little bit. These are still incendiary mortars. They are not upgraded. So I don't expect to see a lot of extra damage out of them. Nil is just applying pressure, trying to force an overreaction without investing too much himself. Tar once again going howitzer, double howitzer. And their opponents, Team Gold, is, well, they understand that it's probably howitzers and are developing anti-howitzer technology. By that I mean buckshot. Lots of buckshot. We're going to see some hot howitzer on shotgun action. First howitzer comes online for Tar. It looks like he's preparing to fire it immediately at a cannon o'clock style timing. A solid hit, good damage, nothing critical. Deals 1% splash damage to Julian's core, rather deals splash damage to Julian's core at 1% of his total HP value. More importantly, it blasted the energy shield, which is where most of that damage repair build comes from. And the energy shield broken, Taichi follows up with a plasma beam, wiping out all of Julian's energy production. That's painful. And now the howitzer is ready to fire again, and this time there will be 2 howitzer rounds coming out of Tar. Doesn't quite have the energy to fire them yet, but will have the energy by the time he wants to fire them, I think. Should have it. There are enough shotguns on the board to completely shut down Tar. And shut down Tar they do. Multiple snipers coming out from Team Gold, breaking a healthy chunk of Haze Orb's anti-air. The mortars are still incendiary, so this anti-air is both required and not particularly high value because Nils is not developing enough mortars to give value to the anti-air. Okay, now he's upgrading them. Why are you like this? They haven't landed a hit yet. Okay, well, you know what? We'll see how that goes. I'm curious to see what he does with this. Typically, if I were in Nil's position, I would want, if I were to upgrade those mortars, I would want them to be, how do I want to describe this? Covered by additional mortars.
Consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. Because as they are, they really exist for the purposes of just annoyance as opposed to anything else. It looks like Nils is gonna go with the fire beam mortar strat. I do actually really like this strategy, and it's working. This is a later game iteration of the mortars where you use the fire beams to cover for the mortars. I would still want 6 heavy mortars if I'm doing this. Like 6 heavy mortars alone are enough to get damage through sometimes, and then when you add in the fire beams, they actually just get through consistently and break things. It's like an order of operations kind of deal. Like you can get 1 fire beam, 3 mortars, and those mortars will land most of the time, but that's the kind of damage that can be mitigated. You get 6 of them. Not only do they come out earlier, but you force a stronger response, which just delays your opponents across the board, and also runs the risk of dealing actual game-ending damage the entire time. And then when you add in a fire beam, it goes from running a risk of dealing game-ending damage to suddenly someone explodes. Which I like. I like that iteration. I like that version of the strategy as opposed to just vaguely getting heavy mortar land at a single array of heavy mortars landing at, you know, the 9-minute mark. Oh,
That is a crazy shot.
yes. I am convinced that they were attempting to door snipe Tar's cannon because they had slammed into that door already, like twice with the plasma. But that last shot actually went underneath the door and hit the bottom of the cannon platform, breaking it and eliminating the cannon itself. That said, those mortars, they're starting to get real work done. Nice shooting. Taichu gets some damage done. As it stands, the damage dealt to either side has been not insubstantial, but also not enough to prevent progress. So both sides are just kind of growing. Their forts festering, as it were. Gradually increasing in size and firepower. This grants Team Gold a pretty substantial advantage because they've had higher eco for an extended period of time. Team Haze Orb has 0 upgraded mines. They both have an upgrade center now. Oh! Now that is a beautiful shot. Nil's armor is penetrated by virtue of door snipe and he loses a pair of mines in the process. But that's still only going to help even the ecos here. If Haze Orb wants to continue keeping up with Team Gold, they're going to have to upgrade their mines, and they have to upgrade their mines right about now, or Team Gold is just going to truly run away with the game. It's worth noting that Taichu is added in his own mortars. It's only 2 and doesn't have any support for them, so I have no expectation that one should do anything. There's enough anti-air on this side of Team Gold just because, well, dealing with howitzers. They just kind of incidentally deal with the mortars as well. I think those mortars are more bait than anything else. But we do see a trade shot here. Nils takes some damage to a door snipe, loses a weapon. Taichu, same deal, except doesn't take core damage, just loses the weapon. And we're just seeing a kind of back and forth damage dealt every now and again. That's it. That EMP made it. That's opening. Yep, Tar loses all of his turbines. That's a lot of damage. Does Julian suffer the same fate? He can do it. His energy shield's broken. No! Another secondary explosion. Nils down to 44%. Nils is getting laser sniped just kind of out of this game. Nils has to be careful now at this point. You cannot afford additional... You just can't afford additional secondary explosions. He has to be careful. There has to be a wide gap between his core and his everything else, which is difficult to maintain. It makes base building more complicated. He knows we'll be able to manage it. Such complications are commonplace within the Battle of Forts. Another attempted door snipe. Partially gets it, damages the weapon, but doesn't break it. Ooh! A mortar just makes it through. Clean, raw. No support. Takes out a plasma. Like a whole plasma. Yeah, I hate to see it if you're Team Haze Orb. Once again, Tar's defenses are shut down via EMP and loses a majority of his turbines. Tar is struggling out here. Enough anti-air for both teams to keep the EMPs away. EMP finally getting sniped. Tar taking care of Julian's EMP option. And another door snipe. Nils loses a fire beam this time. I will say Taichu's been doing a great job at door sniping. Tar has been utterly failing to get damage done. Mostly due to not having the energy production to get damage done, because he keeps getting his energy production blasted out of existence. It really doesn't help that everyone on Team Gold has enough anti-air to shut down the howitzers, and Tar only has howitzers. This is why I don't like playing with howitzers. Another door snipe. Nil loses another fire beam as both howitzers land. Julian gets baited by the EMP. Doesn't have the shotgun available to blast the howitzer out of the sky. And just like that, Julian face tanks 2 howitzer rounds and doesn't care. Julian has had an economic advantage for such an extreme amount of time that his armor is thick, and laughs at your pitiful attempts of slapping him with 2 howitzer shells. 2 howitzer shells enough to end most bases. A mere flesh wound to Julian as Julian focuses fire with Nils on Taichu, and Taichu's armor is penetrated. Internal damage. And Taichu's core is knocked down to 82% as the mortars rain in from on high, breaking the armor once again and allowing Taichu's wind turbines to become vulnerable and blasted. Things are falling apart for Team Haze Orb here. Just not enough damage output to outpace Gold's economic advantage. Taichu and Tar have started working on their eco upgrades, but they haven't caught up to Team Gold yet, so they are still at a disadvantage, and it shows. Even when Haze Orb lands hits with their heavy weapons, it's not enough to break Team Gold at this point, because they're just so far ahead. This is, Oh, Taichu manages to get his mines upgraded to max. That will put him on par with Team Gold's players. Tar is still behind. I want to point this out. Tar has not floated a single medal. Not even one medal this entire game. He has spent every medal possible from the start of the game.
Taichu
all
also.
19 minutes of it. Yes, Taichu also. And they still are just not... They just don't have as much on the board as Team Gold does. Whereas Team Gold has floated, 1,000 medal or 200 medal, 168 medal, 218 medal. Like, this is the power of economic upgrades. I'm just still impressed that they've managed to go literally 19 minutes and floated 0 medal, not even 1. It matters. It's that right there is a huge showcase of skill here. But Team Gold is winning off the back of strategy. They've managed to turn it into a bit of an attritional war, and it's working out for them. I think the scariest bit would be Nils adding in additional mortars or Julian going cannons and replacing his laser beams with cannons. Either of those, I believe, would be a good step in ending the game in Gold's favor. This Taichu just gets pelted by the mortars. Oh, Julian once again takes 2 mortars to the face. We have a good clean shot from Taichu. Laser beam follow-up on the weakened points, which were, opened up by the howitzer shells. Still not enough to penetrate Julian's copious amounts of armor. But it is a pretty nasty repair build. Not the kind of damage that Julian wants to be taking. More importantly, targets eliminated. Death by door snipe. Nils comes in from on high and knocks Tar out of this game, leaving Taichu the last man standing on Team Haze Orb, and does not have the damage output to break either player on Team Gold. Now, Taichu still has a plasma. It's exposed and damaged and being fired upon. And you missed! But he does have a plasma. And where one plasma exists, there exists the opportunity for door snipe. And where Nils has not much core HP left, a door snipe could be lethal. Actually, could a door snipe be lethal here? I don't think a door snipe would be lethal here, but it would be close.
It would be painful. Like this?
Yes. That was the shot I was talking about. That specifically right there was exactly the shot I was talking about. Leaving Nils at 12%. But Taichu loses his plasma for that, for his troubles. He's building a new one, and the new plasma could do the same thing. Will Nils be so greedy as to replace that? I think the next door snipe available does not defeat Nils here. I think Nils has done the... Oh, he puts it right back. Wait, is that a fire beam? Oh, it's a plasma. Okay,
no,
so...
this is bad.
There is an
Taichu
opportunity
does
now.
Need to survive, though.
Yes, Taichu needs to survive the next minute and a half, which is asking a lot. That's no simple task.
Yeah, those mortars
if
are not going to
Taichu
make life
survives-
easy.
Yeah, no, I don't. I
no
strongly
demons,
suspect
no.
Taichu's not gonna make it. But if he does make it, the next minute and a half, and Nils fires that plasma, it will give Taichu the opportunity to door snipe. And if he lands that door snipe, it
Never
eliminates
mind.
Nils. But that is not the timeline in which we live. For right now, Gold has just eliminated the entirety of Team Haze Orb and wins this matchup 3-1, sending themselves off to the final round and knocking Team Haze Orb down to the bronze match. Let's check out those replays. So much damage. The amount of times Tar got his turbines blasted was crippling. What a way to go. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I hope you guys are excited, because next up we have Team Row 1 versus Gonna Touch You. The next best of 5. Oh, I am looking forward to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and show off the picks and bans, the vetoes for this upcoming round. Team Row 1 versus Team Gonna Touch You. This one is... I'm looking forward to this matchup. Butterdog and Ryebjik versus Clow and Bensi. Some of my favorite players, like unironically. I classify Butterdog as a memer type player, which I typically appreciate from a distance.
With the butter.
Yes. I appreciate from a distance, but honestly the Butterdog Ryebjik combo it's pretty good. Like, they're actually really good, solid players, and I like watching them play. And Clow and Bensi have just been top-tier players since, should I say, at the very least, entertaining players since their inception. So I'm super into it. This is going to be another really good matchup.
Butterdog might meme, but he takes his memeing very seriously. You should see like his practice sessions where he's just going for muscle memory.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's in my brain. I think it was because of the early days of encountering Butterdog specifically. He was like super hard in the memes, and when he has definitely gotten better and definitely more competitive, and I think that's just my brain still registers him as a memer, but he's actually really good at the game, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. He's got like that perfect mix of willing to do wild stuff, but also is actually really good at doing everything generally. So it's nice to see. It makes for good games. And with a teammate like Ryebjik, who's just perpetually showed himself to be a team carry many times, like we've got a power team right there. They're facing off against Bensi and Clow, which are, well, they've made names for themselves in all the right ways. So I'm looking forward to this one. But this time, we have Architect and Hurricane banned. So we won't be seeing either of those commanders, and we'll be starting out on Snow Leopards. Snow Leopards is the 2v2 map where one fort can drop upon the other. We saw that happen once already. Kinda, sorta.
It's still just startling to me anytime I see Snow Leopards not banned, but Vanilla banned.
I know. It's like, of all the maps, Vanilla... You know, honestly, Vanilla is one of my least favorite Vanilla maps. It's the wind floor on it. And if you're in the lower fort, you have to worry about building too tall, because then you get partially blocked by your teammate. I like the Vanilla fort starting fort, but Vanilla map itself, don't get me wrong, it's a perfectly fine degree of restrictive. I just like to build things really tall.
And I guess if you trust your teammate, Snow Leopard isn't nearly as as much of an issue.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the biggest problems with Snow Leopards is a trust issue, and if you have a Forge Pro League level teammate, it's really not that big a deal. It's one of the reasons why we don't see the cores dropping on each other much, even if you are defeated in the top fort, the chances are you're going to develop your fort in a way such that it doesn't drop. Because, you know, if it drops, you've done something wrong or been punished super hard, and that's something that you tend to deal with beforehand. You know, just by building, I'm going to say correctly, though correctly is not really a good word for it, but so much as building in a manner which allows you to survive such things. You know, if my core is not the first, if my core is the first thing to go, I've done something wrong. So everything else is gonna break first. It will be nothing but a smoldering ruin by the time you finish me off. That kind of deal. But on to this match specifically, we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Gonna Touch You. Ryabjik and Butterdog are playing as the Spook Commander. They're facing off against their opponents on the right-hand side. In the red, it is Team Ro, playing as the Armadillo Commander, Clow and Bensing. We have a brief pause here. The player has requested a pause. Looks like their Bensing is having an internet issue. So we'll give the game a brief pause and check out the stability of his internet. It looks like it's an issue with him specifically, not a server issue or anything of the sort. So it's likely to be either resolved immediately or never resolved. Okay, he's going to restart his game and then we'll jump back into it. So we have a minute here of a break. So if you guys didn't already between the matches, make sure to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, because you have more matches like this coming up soon. Namely next week, and also right now. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and get started with the next prediction. Which team are you voting for? Which team do you think will win? All right. I'm looking forward to this. It's unfortunate because this is one of the how do I want to describe this? This is one of the concerns we've had. And sometimes we get players from all over the place, you know, across Europe and Asia and United States and such, and having to deal with the ping and lag issue is something that just happens behind the scenes. Sometimes it's not so behind the scenes.
Looks like we are ready to start again.
And let's do this. Right back into the action. And we're back.
Yeah, his ping looks to be much more stable now.
A quick router reset will do that for you.
Have you
Now,
tried
it
turning
looks-
it off and on again?
Yes. Every time. Now, it looks like Team Gonna Touch You is going with the upgrade center route. So they're going eco first, whereas Team Ro is a bit half and half with it. Benzine went eco first into lasers, whereas Clow is eco before tier 1 tech? I'm sorry, it's 2.5 minutes. And he got... Okay. Unusual build order. I don't know how to feel about that. We'll see.
Care to play the who could be eliminated with a buzzsaw right now game?
Yes, the answer is everyone. Which is hilarious. But no one's building buzzsaws, so that won't come into play. But everyone here is just greedy enough to be eliminated by buzzsaws. Just period. I like what we're seeing from Team Gonna Touch here. They're just playing it slowly, methodically. We're seeing upgraded snipers from both teams. And more importantly, Butterdog's going with the Portal Nuke strat. And he's going with it first, which means that this is going to be a slow and eventual nukes tactic. Whereas on the other side, Team Row it's going just a mix of cannons and lasers. I'm into it. I love to see it. Which flavors will they build is yet to be seen. Here comes the EMP. Ooh, and the AP sniper. Ramjik loses the sniper war to an AP sniper. I like what I'm seeing from Butterdog. I've mentioned this multiple times, that building 4 nukes right at the start doesn't work. Not because you can't do it, but because no one ever has the energy to afford it until like 5 minutes after they build the nukes. Butterdog's just getting 2. I can get behind this. Now, it is worth noting that 2 nukes do not provide a lot of cover. There's no swarm missiles here. So this is going to be basically just raw nukes, undefended, flying across the sky and hoping that it works, which is asking a lot. We'll see. Let's see how this works out. Fire beam. Blaster Benzine's plasma. Another hit like that would actually eliminate that plasma, and I don't know that Derbenzine successfully defended his weapon platform against follow-up fire beam shot. We may just see Butterdog make that shot again. Though Derbenzine is actively defending against it and has revealed that he's defending against it, so if I were in Butterdog's position, I would be convinced that Derbenzine built that correctly and not bother firing the fire beam, not risk firing the fire beam. But from this position in the spectator cam, I'm truly not convinced that's the proper defense. And I think if Butterdog were to fire right now, he could wipe out Derbenzine's weapons. Here come the nukes. Fire beam will open and defend such nukes. Well done. The chain fire, and there it goes. And away goes the plasma. That's a lot of damage. The first nuclear volley does the work. it is time to do it again. It's worth noting that going with the double nuke like this also means that these weapons come out earlier and do damage earlier. Which is usually a good thing, you know? Oh. Sniper taking out the shotgun. That will leave the howitzer clear to fly across the sky. Well, clearish. Ah! The ricochet round snipes the flak from behind. Oh, that portal is vulnerable to the sniper from below. It's gonna hit the, it's just gonna hit the rocket launcher. I don't think it's gonna break it, because, you know, he's gonna shut the portal. Like, you can defend that, but... yeah, the swarm missile launchers, the nuke launchers themselves are pretty tanky, so the sniper can't bring them down fast. Standard cannon from Clow, coming in after the howitzer lands. Doesn't break through Ebjik's armor, but does threaten such things.
Oh, sniper is hitting the nuke Sino in the portal.
Yes. Once again, does he follow it up?
Disable.
Because if he lands that shot,
Disable.
I don't think Butterdog notices the sniper is hitting
Yeah,
it
he
again.
didn't notice because he repaired it. I saw him repair it, so you should have noticed.
I mean, he noticed it was happening once. I don't think he noticed it happened again.
Oh.
Did that man just pre-snipe
Yes.
a nuke?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to point out that Derbenzine pre-sniped Butterdog's nuke as it was coming out of the launch tube. That's... okay. Well, Butterdog is struggling here. He got his fire beam door sniped, and with it he lost a lot of internal components. God, the sniping from Derbenzine is just devastating. Butterdog unable to fire both nukes at the same time, or at least in a rapid succession. Okay. Oof. So these forts are getting real thick. Clow has a howitzer and 2 cannons, which is not enough to out DPS Ribjik's chunk of a base. Oh!
What?
Oh
never seen
my
that before.
god! Oh! Ho, ho.
I have never seen a nuke go so straight before.
That's what happens when you don't chain fire your nukes. The one time he doesn't chain fire. Has nothing to do with whether he chain fired or not. But the one time he didn't chain fire.
You're going to blame him for it.
Oh my god, that's... so I was wondering if that was going to happen. That's always a possibility, especially when the nukes go down. There are two things that can happen there when you have your nukes pointed down into your teammate's core like that. One, sometimes the nuke just bugs out and slaps into your teammate's core because it gets confused. That happens sometimes. Two, whenever the nuke takes damage, as it did there, then it goes a bit drunk and wild, and when the nukes get drunk, they can do anything, including go directly into your teammate's core. That is what we saw happen here. The nuke went drunk, forgot to turn, went in a straight line, and then blasted his teammate out of the game. And that cost him the entire round. Ro wins this 1-0 off the back of defeating the nukes via anti-air. That was insane. That was absolutely crazy. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. But here we are. Let's go ahead and check out those replays. Man, imagine winning because you did a little bit of manual anti-air. Imagine that's how that goes. Gosh, manual anti-air is strong. I wonder why lasers are powerful, because they do things like that. They're just the ultimate counterplay tool. Also, Benzine 100% pre-sniped the nuke with the AP sniper. That's just... Benzine was showing off that round is what happened. That was crazy. And the laser. Gosh. Look, one nuke goes drunk and tries to return to Butterdog's core. The other one goes drunk and goes straight to Reabjic's core. Like that's insane. That's absolutely insane. All right. And we're off to the next round. As here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Ro winning their first match off the back of some beautiful anti-air plays. Like literally the anti-air won them the game in a very literal sense. Clow and Benzine are playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. They'll be selling off their goodies get a speedy boost through the early game. Whereas on their opponent's side, Team Gonna Touch You, Ramjik and Butterdog are playing as the Armored Commander. I am curious to see how this one will turn out. So these commanders play very differently. The Pinch Fist Commander is the pinnacle of I'm going to end the game before the 15-minute mark, and I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. Whereas the Armadillo Commander is the I'm not going to even start really applying pressure until the 15-minute mark. I guess the pressure starts really coming on at like the 10-minute mark, but they plan to do a slow, gradual ramp up to where they don't even try to get advantage until like the 15-minute mark. So because of that, I do expect the teams to play into strategies that fit those ideas, those concepts. And so either Row is going to win before the 15-minute mark, or Gonna Touch You is going to turn this into an attritional battle that will all but checkmate Team Row by the 15-minute mark. One of these two things will happen, and we'll know when the timer hits 15 minutes-ish. I use 15 minutes just because it's like my anecdotal experience with the approximate timings of these things, but technically there's no particular time for it. We'll see when we get there. I have a comment from chat that I want to mention. Umon says, I did not know that the plasma hitting the nukes makes them drunk first without killing them. Yes, it takes 2 ticks worth of damage in order to destroy a nuke. That can be from any damage source, but the thing is, plasmas deal... How do I want to describe this? They deal their damage in small increments. Like every in-game frame is 1 tick of damage. Now here's the thing, because it gets a little bit more complicated than that. And I don't know why this is how plasmas work, but it is how they work, and it's something you have to consider. A plasma beam, when it fires, will deal its damage on a frame-by-frame basis, doing 1 tick of damage per frame. So if a nuke is flying at a clean through it, like at a 90-degree angle, as it was doing in that last match, then what ends up happening is the nuke passes through, the hitbox of the nuke passes through the plasma beam in its entirety within that 1 frame and only gets drunk. If there's some angle involved, then it doesn't necessarily happen that way. It can it can stay within the beam for 2 ticks and end it. But there's another element to this. When a plasma beam goes off the screen and doesn't hit anything except the nuke, then it, for whatever reason, does not deal damage to the nuke. So it will guarantee make it drunk if it goes off the screen. And you'll see this happen a lot on standard floor type maps, like vanilla, where there's no terrain on the edge of the screen. Let's say if we pull off the screen here, we have terrain here, which can be collided like this fire beam is. Alternatively, if it goes off the screen down here, then you don't get the plasma beam updating, I guess is the word to describe it. And so it will always only hit the nuke once, which guarantees make it drunk and cannot destroy the nuke, which is, interesting to consider. I don't know why that's how that works, only that's how that works, but that's something the players are familiar with. But man, that was a wild nuke. But on to this round. It's been 6 minutes. It is Canada clock, and lasers have been fired. Team Gonna Touch You is going pure laser beam, with Butterdog also going portal nukes, though delayed. He's going lasers first to apply pressure. Team Row is going with what I'm going to describe as the standard play. 1 laser, 1 howitzer player. Clow going with the double howitzer position, which means if this gets door sniped for any reason, Clow has 0 hope of survival. We saw this same exact strat in last week's play on this map, and the howitzer player got door sniped and immediately obliterated, just completely disintegrated. As we see Ribjik and Clow going with the sniper war. Ribjik winning this time. Here come the howitzers. Ribjik has shotguns ready. 1 blast and second impact. Massive damage. Ribjik is vulnerable to follow-up shots, and there are no follow-up shots available. But Derbensin's lasers will come off cooldown first. Will Ribjik be able to defend in time? It looks like the answer is probably yes, but it's got some rebuilding here, and I suspect... Oh yeah, he's selling off everything. He knows what's happening. Oh, he holds it. Oh, he gets penetrated and loses some internals, but nothing critical. As here comes another wave of howitzer. But once again, there's not going to be a follow-up here. Derbensin blew his load early, and there's nothing to finish off Ribjik here. He's literally selling everything. His upgrade center's going down. There's nothing. Ribjik's got no real internals left to sell. He's getting energy shields online, hoping to keep those energy beams away from him. Commander active, a double howitzer. Now they're going to do the order properly, and with a follow-up... Oh, but it shatters the... Oh my god. One of the energy shield breaks, the other stays intact, and it catches the plasma. Ribjik is selling off his everything just to stay in this game, and it's working. I kid you not, if Ribjik did not sell all of his internals as quickly as he did, this round would already be over for Ribjik. Holy smokes. Talk about a good reaction. That is... He didn't even float any money during that, by the way. He just sold exactly the amount of things he needed to defend. As one nuke gets drunk, the other slams directly, and Derbensin loses some weaponry. Loses a lot of weaponry. Loses almost all of his weaponry. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Derbensin unprepared for the double nuke launch, and just takes it and doesn't take it well. He still possesses 2 plasma beams active, and a third is soon to be online. And do it. Ooh. The energy shields for Butterdog, keeping him in this game. Team Row, with those double howitzers, is doing devastating work. Just blasting their opponents with... frankly, unsustainable amounts of damage. Team Gonna Touch You needs to do something, and their Butterdog's nukes here are... I classify them as doing something. It's just... it's not doing as much as these double howitzers. Good lord. Now, this is where things start to become problematic for Team Row. Team Row, for as much damage as they are doing, and I still credit them with being at the advantage here. As much damage as they are doing, they are still on a timer. Team Gonna Touch You wants this game to look like what it is now. Maybe not so far behind, but they want to be in a position where they can face tank everything and slowly work their way towards stabilization. Team Row still hasn't let their opponent stabilize yet. Team Gonna Touch You is not in the place they want to be. They are still working on efficiently defending themselves, but they have defended themselves. They haven't quite stopped the momentum of Team Row yet, but they are working on it. Team Row is slowing down here, where once Ryebjik was selling off internals just to survive, now he's barely hanging on still. And he's gone. That was a beautifully lined up bit of firepower. Just barely breaking it broke the final foundation node necessary to send Ryebjik into the abyss, and into the abyss he goes. Only Butterdog remains. And with only Butterdog remaining, the total combined firepower of Team Row will bear down upon him. And while his strategy was once face tank it and stabilize the damage by, well, defending efficiently, there is no world in which he defends this kind of firepower repeatedly, and then eventually just kind of outdoes the firepower. Like, that's not going to happen. So now Butterdog is relying on getting these nukes across the board and trying to annihilate a player to stop the damage from happening. And Firebeam, oh my god, is he going to make it? One nuke goes across, the other nuke makes it, but he catches it. Durbinstein catches the nuke at the extremities of his base, preventing it from dealing real damage. Butterdog needed more damage to make it happen, and it didn't. And down he goes. Team Row wins round 2 in this best of 5. Very, very well played. Well, that was exciting. That was a lot of damage coming up from Team Row. I didn't expect that kind of damage coming up from Team Row. At least I didn't expect it to be as effective as it was. They just lined up their shots perfectly, like perfectly crossed the beams, beautifully coalesced those cannons. And that just, it was enough. God, that moment, right? Look how many shots. There was like 3 plasmas bouncing off the energy shield and multiple sniper rounds, every single one of which would have gone directly to and eliminated Ryebjik right there. That was, oh boy, that was a lot. So much firepower, so much damage. Yeah, that was a lot. Alright then, we are going on to round 3 in this best of 5, and more importantly, this is match point for Team Row 1. If Team Row 1 wins this, they'll be moving on to the finals and knocking Team Gonna Touch You down to the 3rd place match, where they'll have to fight for bronze. So if we're gonna see, just like in the last matchup, if we're
think you
gonna
will
see,
enjoy this match.
oh no. Oh no. It's finally happened. Team Gonna Touch You's playing as the Phantom Commander. Of course they are. Of any team to play it. Alright. Well, this is happening. Here we have on the left hand side of the Team Gonna Touch You, hoping to claim victory for the first time in this matchup. They're playing as the Phantom Commander. Is this... I don't know if this is the map I would want to be playing on if I'm playing Phantom, but I mean, I guess it's now or never. But they're facing against their opponents, Team Row, who's on match points in this best of 5 at 2-0. Clow and Durbinstein are playing as the Moonshine Commander. Okay. I'm just staring at Gonna Touch His base right now, just like, alright, what are they doing? What's gonna happen? They haven't done anything crazy yet. There's gotta be something, like, you don't pick Phantom without having plans within plans. But what is it? Oh dear. Honestly, I've seen a fair few good strategies come out from Phantom. Anything from a basic Rocket Rush out of nowhere to... Well, Rocket Rush out of nowhere is probably the most effective I've seen. But I wouldn't consider this to be a Rocket Rush map. If there were to be rockets, it would have had to come from Rebjik, and I'm not seeing that here. This looks suspiciously like a standard build order. Am I the one getting baited?
Maybe they just want the passives.
Maybe, but like... Well,
Moving weapon is strong.
Though? I mean... It's not weak. I don't know if strong is the word. Like, it's fine. Of all the passive they could choose, they could have chose something a little stronger. But like... Okay, well, it looks like they're just playing standard. Look, Ribjik's going for the howitzer build. Standard, like a standard howitzer build. Butterdog's looking like he's going... looking like he's getting AP sniped by Clow.
That certainly is a firebeam position.
It is, but I assume he's going to move it elsewhere because he can.
I would hope so.
AP
Ooh.
sniper from on high, touching Ribjik's core. Now I want to... You know, I'm looking at the name Ribjik, and I've said it this many times. I've never actually asked him how to properly pronounce it. I should do that. I just like channel my grandmother's voice and just say, all right, if my grandmother were to read this word, what would it sound like? And that's what it sounds like in my head. Aggressively Slavic woman. Pure babushka status. But I don't actually know. I should ask. But yeah, we're seeing AP snipers from both players on Team Rogue. Token EMP. Like, it's just... Early pressure isn't the right word. It's just exquisitely done, well-refined standard harassment tools. Refined to the point where they're actually dangerous. EMP just being obnoxious. But yeah, we're seeing pure fire beam out of Butterdog with Ribjik going howitzers. So it will be howitzer play from Ribjik with Butterdog at a pure support role. It is worth noting, the most important factor here, Butterdog has 3 buzzsaws ready to go. So when this opens, someone's losing all of their armor, all of their wood, followed immediately by howitzer blasting, which is going to be devastating for someone in particular. Who's it going to be? I'm willing to bet that it's going to be Clow. Clow is going to get removed from the game, I think. That's how I think this is going to go. Where are these buzzsaws gonna go?
I really like the Ryajik background bait.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And the EMP is just like scouting for it to know that there's nothing there. Which suddenly there is something there, and surprise! It's... oh. Well, that did it. Surprise, it's Phantom, and suddenly Cloud goes down.
Moving weapon is strong.
Yes. That went from... the little details that were important. It started with Rybjik putting background bracing here, just in front of his fort, saying, hey, I'm putting something here, you don't know what it is, but I'm putting something there. Immediately followed by Clow scanning the entire area with snipers and EMPs to discover that, oh, there's nothing there, he's just messing with me. Followed by Rybjik cloaking the entire fort, putting something there, and instantly removing Clow from the game. Surprise! It's Phantom. So now Team Row knows it's Phantom. I think they probably didn't reveal before. I didn't notice anything that would have revealed the Phantom option before, so I think that was probably a surprise to Team Row, and it definitely very effective. Whoa! Not this time. Rybjik brings his howitzer forward and gets immediately punished by Derbensine, who saw the movement happening. Actually managing to destroy both the howitzer and the projectile, which is unusual. Usually you get one or the other, not both.
Oh, it crumbles.
So much damage. You know, Derbensine trying to hang on to the lower forts as an expansion to his base, but that's just so much damage output from Team Gonna Touch here. The machine gunners are enough to defend against Rybjik's howitzer, but he's struggling to hold on to that lower position. He's trying very hard, and he's trying. Oh. Uh-oh. That's a shot. That's an angle. That's also an angle. Ricocheting around in places where Derbensine doesn't want it to... oh! Secondary explosions. And Butterdog getting punished. Derbensine is doing a great job of punishing the movements. Like, the Phantom players are moving their weapons to exposed positions so they can fire them for free. Unhindered. And it's just not working out for them because they become exposed for a brief moment and Derbensine just snipes them from the game. You know, Derbensine has done an impressive job of maintaining that connection. He's gained most of the mineral eco from the extended position, and has successfully defended it in terms of armor and girth, but behind it, Dubensin has lost almost all of his weapons. He has very little offensive firepower remaining. It's down to a single laser and a sniper. He's got a couple machine gunners, but it's not enough to stop Rybjik's howitzer. Oh. But again, the one plasma just removing cannons and weapons from their opponents. Not even door sniping, it's just Team Gonna Touch You is putting their positions in, they're putting the weapons in positions which are vulnerable to direct fire. They're just exposed and out there. 3 more snipers placed for Dubensin.
His APM is consistently above 400.
Yes. That's a lot of buzzsaws just keeping Dubensin's APM high and the resource expenditure even higher. Ooh, aiming for the extended position, I approve. I mentioned it last time, and I'll mention it again. I believe the appropriate tactic for removing this kind of position that Dubensin has found himself in is to remove the focus fire on the extension, which is what they're doing now. They've disconnected it, removed most of it. It's going to, I think, prevent Dubensin from connecting to it in any practical sense. It can still be connected to, but it's going to be a heavy expenditure and time consuming, and that's time and money which Team Gonna Touch You need not permit Dubensin to do. So I think if they just apply a little more pressure, Dubensin will be unable to reclaim that. He is currently reclaiming it and trying to defend it, but those buzzsaws, yeah, they're choosing not to fire at that position again. Which is their prerogative. But Dubensin does manage to reclaim it and is rearming it as we speak. Now they return to firing at the lower position. And there it is. Mines are gone. Those will not be replaced in any timely fashion, leaving Dubensin practically permanently denied that lower mining position. Ooh, that's critical damage. 4 mines destroyed. Dubensin loses a massive chunk of his eco. Though I must say, those plasmas from Dubensin are terrifying. Team Gonna Touch You is genuinely struggling to break Dubensin here. They're working on him, they're whittling him down. Oh, he doesn't get the howitzer. Oh, it's so close, but not. That's so far away. Massive damage. Dubensin just lost internal components. He lost his laser production facility and storages. His core is knocked down to 27% off the back of secondary explosions. That is a huge blow. I doubt Dubensin will be able to afford his heavy weapon sec in the foreseeable future. Likely not for the rest of this game. Derbensine will have to stabilize using only these 2 plasmas and little more than just the plasmas and maybe a sniper. As here Derbensine's armor is being penetrated, they're focusing their fire into the center, onto the core. He holds, but that's a big expenditure. A door snipe, Derbensine gets door sniped by a cannon. Fails to return the door snipe. Derbensine just lost one of his plasmas. He's down to a single plasma and will remain there for the foreseeable future. 2 more howitzers blasting at his core. That's not the kind of damage he can sustain. Oh, a huge hit. That's so much armor, so much structure lost. And more importantly, he's lost the eco from the extended position. Derbensine's down to 3 mines, which is not enough to sustain much of anything. Here come the volleys again. He takes out one of the howitzers. Derbensine has just been systematically dismantling Ripchik, but that's it. Derbensine just lost his final mine. Derbensine has no more income. He will not be able to reconstruct anything at this point. He has to sell off his internals in order to jumpstart his economy again. He builds 1 mine. That's, 45 seconds or so out before it goes net positive. And that's it. Derbensine is eliminated, and Team Gonna Touch You, off the back of a dirty, filthy combo attack, empowered by Phantom Play, wins their first match in this best of 5. The score is now 1-2, favoring Team Row. Let's check out those replays. Well, that was exciting. God, look at that damage. It's so much. The slice. Very well done. Yeah, so I mentioned it before. Derbensine is one of my favorite players for that reason. He's just good at holding the line like that. His APM is so high. Very well adapted to fighting against insurmountable odds. And very nearly bringing it back. Alright, you know what that means? We're off to round 4, where Team Row 1 is on match points. Team Gonna Touch You has to win this round to even the scores, or they will be knocked down to the bronze match, leaving Team Row 1 heading straight to the finals. Alright, here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Row 1. Clow and Derbensine are playing as the Overdrive Commander. They're facing off against their opponents on the right-hand side in the red. Team Gonna Touch You. Butterdog and Rebjik are playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. Let's see how this turn out. I liked the Phantom Play. It worked. It worked. It's terrifying to have to consider that maybe your opponents are Phantom. I was kind of hoping Team Row would pick Phantom. They aren't the kind of players that are known to pick Phantom. I would half expect it from Butterdog and Rebjik, but not so much from Derbensine. They're too standard.
I think
vanilla.
Phantom right after having lost to Phantom is a bit bold, and maybe that would be somewhat expected, possibly.
That's what makes it unexpected.
Triple
That's how
bluff.
Phantom works. Yes. Never stop bluffing. Plans within plans within plans. Good lord. But we're not seeing Phantom this round. It'll be something resembling standard play. We are seeing Team Gonna Touch You go with Heavy Weapons Rush. Butterdog even going with the 4-mine iteration, like 4-mine before tech. I should say tech before 5th mine. So this is a very fast laser rush from Butterdog. I'm expecting Fire Beam, Plasma Beam at like the 4.5 minute mark kind of rush. Which, good chance of throwing off their opponents. But also, Team Row is still sitting there staring at their bases with snipers. Ribjik going with the mortar play. I expect an upgrade center soon. Honestly, if Butterdog goes the 4.5 minute Fire Beam, Plasma Beam, and Ribjik goes 6x mortar, we could see Cloud getting just wiped out of the game here at pre-5 minutes. Like, force Cloud to focus on defending the odd mortar angle, potentially leaving his core open to laser sniping. That could just be it. Plasma's placed on time. Fire
Looks
beam.
like we'll be looking at 5:15 or so.
Yeah. It's not the fastest
Which is
possible, but
Still a good timing.
it is
will be
still
faster
great
than their
timing.
opponents,
Yes.
at least.
Yes, especially given that Clow is upgrading his mines, they have a good chance of just eliminating a player at the 5 minute. They have to be on the spot with their timing with this.
It will heavily depend on if
And-
Cloud notices the danger and armors up. It looks like he's doing some
Yes.
chunky defense already, so it will
It's
have to be
that-
Benson. That is, I think, just barely enough to not die from one hit.
Butterdog has a buzzsaw.
Yeah. If he lines up everything, yes, that's enough. Oh, also, if Cloud sells the metal, that's not good.
Okay, and Clow is still armoring up, so there's a good... Yeah, I don't think...
It will depend on a few factors. But I think Benson would be a more reasonable target.
Yes. And I believe Butterdog has an angle on it as well.
There will be very high parallax on the Fire Beam and Plasma, so it won't be an easy shot.
But it is doable.
Yes. And it will be relevant very soon.
Fire Beam online. Plasma Beam online.
Buzzsaw
Is not ready. Second Fire Beam will be online in a few seconds. And Buzzsaw is opening. We're about to see the opening volley at about the 5-minute 30-second mark. There are so many defenses in front of Cloud's base right now. Going to the center. He's not getting this. Yeah, he changes target immediately to Benson.
and missed.
Oh! Touches the mine. Doesn't break it. But now we see energy shields coming online. The Alpha Strike didn't do it. Cloud was just too defended, and Better Dog didn't have the firepower to break their Banshee after splitting the focus. Now Ribjik is going with the 6 mortar fire beam strat, at least I presume 6 mortar fire beam strat. A little bit of deforming, but nothing that Cloud can't handle. The flak are being a problem for Ribjik. The incendiary mortar just touches the machine gunner, and it burns the ground. Burns to the next life, I should say. Clow has successfully obtained his first plasma, so the door sniping will begin. Alright, Ribjik has 6 heavy mortars now. Penetrating straight through the doors, but our dog loses a fire beam. Alright, Ribjik needs a fire beam of his own, which he just placed. Where are you? Ah, you're on top of the core. Right behind the core. That fire beam is exposed. It's got no anything in front of it. No doors, no defenses, nothing. It's just straight exposed. Of course, Debensin doesn't know this. There's a chance he figures it out. Very dangerous chance. 6 mortars have just fired at Debensin. Debensin has 4 machine gunners, and it is enough to completely shut down the mortar array. Fire beam from below. Those mortars will land. They will not land. Oh my god. Those machine gunners. They're getting paid very well. Now the mortars land, taking out a couple machine gunners in the process. That will enable those mortars to land more consistently. With more consistent mortars landing, we're going to see them deal damage, real damage. Another machine gunner falls. Debensin is in danger. He's still, I suspect he's not going to take any real damage for the next several volleys, but he's in danger of having his armor shredded and not being able to recover. So he needs to change something quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing about mortars. Every 9 seconds, may I have another, please?
Yes. Oof. That's a lot of flak.
Adding 4 flags definitely helps.
Yes. This more direct angle is leaving the mortar rounds in range of the flak, and the flak are clearing them out of the sky. Gosh, even through the fire beam is not nearly enough.
Just one bait, though.
Yes. Well,
I mean, now
baiting
with
is
the
less
bait
effective.
system,
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't really work. I mean, it helps, especially against flak, because flak have a tendency to overkill. But it's not gonna be the difference between make or break here. Not usually.
it's not gonna touch him.
Yeah, that is the phrase of the day. He really needs to send those mortars in that higher trajectory like it was before. At this point, they're giving Clow an opportunity to expand, or they're giving Team Row an opportunity to expand. Generally.
Fire beaming the flak directly might also help.
Yes. I think targeting the flank with fire beams would be a good decision. Ah, the one time that makes it through. Oof. Butterdog's energy shields have been very effective. Let's see if Cloud can break through them here. Not with that volley.
Rabzik is starting to lose some mortars to the black.
Yes, he's 2 mortars down.
Ooh, cool door snipe.
Very well done, Butterdog door sniping Cloud here. Butterdog's energy shields have been MVP this game. He's got a lot of them.
Yeah, Clow almost door sniped himself a couple times there.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, Rebjik's not doing nearly enough damage. He needs to target those flak directly.
Yeah.
Ideally with fire beams. Honestly, almost anything can break them. I don't know if he knows this, but an AP sniper could break them, plasma could break them, fire beam could break them. He just needs to target them directly. Because their Benzine has had way too long, far too uncontested. These nukes are going to make it across without... Oh. All of Butterdog's energy shields are broken. And he goes down.
Butterdog is broken.
The Butterdog has been obliterated. Ribjik connects to his once teammate's base, but there's just nothing there. I mean, I guess he's... The portal nukes... The nukes still exist. The portals don't. And that's, you know, a start. Here comes a nuke round 2. Plasma beam wipes out both nukes. The joys of group firing. Though, to be fair, it would be reasonably certain that even a chain fire wouldn't have resolved that particular angle. Ribjik reclaims the nuke and gets the portal online. This should enable him to fire his own portal nukes. Though I have every reason to believe they will be ineffective by virtue of, there's way too much chance here on the
By virtue of
board.
4 flak and 10 machine gunners.
Yes. That. The words this man used. All of them.
As well as 2 fire beams, 4 plasmas. No, 5 plasmas, my bad. 6 plasmas, I'm bad at counting.
It's just so much firepower. Team Row is just gonna blast him out of the game. Rebjik just unable to get enough map control to get these mortars to land, and that's it. Row has outscaled. It's just past the 15-minute mark, coming up on 16 minutes, and, well, Team Gonna Touch You doesn't have any way of meaningfully fighting back, as here comes the killing blow. How are you alive? You aren't. Team Row wins it, going up to 3-1, winning this best of 5 over their opponents. Gonna touch here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our victors and our competitors for next week's finals. Well played, very well played. That was good. Okay. I like this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for stopping by today, as that was the final match for today's activities. Next week, we'll be going into the final broadcast of Season 6 of the Forts Pro League. We'll be doing best of 7 for the finals. Gold, gold, gold versus Row 1, and the bronze match, Haze Orb versus Gonna Touch You. So make sure to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, so you don't miss it. And remember, we go to our normal stream after our normal community stream after this broadcast wraps up. So make sure to stick around and I will see you guys there. We can banter back and forth about your favorite teams, the things you want to see in the Forts Pro League. So once again, shout out to our competitors, Team Gold, Team Row 1, Haze Orb, and Gonna Touch You for giving us some wonderful games. And I'll see you guys soon.